To buy Canelo versus Golovkin at $16.95, press box office on your Sky remote or visit BoxNation.com.
All right, Jandre, let's talk about the biggest fight of 2017, yes, Canelo versus Triple G.
Yes, it is.
Give us your brief prediction.
My prediction, two fighters, two tough guys. You got a young guy with a lot of wars, you got an old guy with a lot of wars. Well, not an old guy, but a guy who's been through his share of battles. I am predicting Triple G by split decision. I think they're both so tough, they're both so formidable, they both have similar aggressive styles, they both like to walk down. I give the counter-punching advantage to Canelo, but I give the power advantage to Triple G, and I think that's going to make the difference. But since they're both so tough, I don't think either guy is going to get that knockout. If we do, you know, I have a little side bet going on with people, but that is my prediction. I'm doing Triple G by split decision.
Now, you know, Canelo tends to slow down somewhere around the 8th or 9th round, and then it's very visible by the 10th. Can that power from Gennady Golovkin break him down where we can possibly see a late round stoppage?
I think we could. You know, here's the thing with Canelo. Canelo now finally gets the opportunity to move up to a full-blown 160 pounds. We've seen 154, 155, 152, 187, 192, however many different weight classes that he has. So now at a full-blown 160, it'll be interesting to see if having this additional muscle and girth and weight that he's not typically fighting at becomes a factor and slows him down as the fight goes into deep water, because he's never had the opportunity to really execute it that way. With the fight with Chavez Jr., he didn't have to really do anything. He just kind of outworked and outpointed him, and he got the victory, so he didn't really get a chance to test that extra weight against a really, truly live dog. So there is a possibility he could gas. He's had past injuries with his calves. That's always a possibility of things that could happen. And then the same thing with Triple G. He will take some big, hard punches from Canelo. So it'll be interesting to see how his chin stacks up, how his body stacks up, and so these are all great factors, but I'm going to stick with my pick of Triple G.
You know, 2 fights removed from Gennady Golovkin, fight fans, fight critics around the world, we're all pretty much in agreement that he would have annihilate Canelo Alvarez. Now that he looks like he's slipped a bit, people are giving Canelo an advantage and a slight, are giving him an advantage and a slight favor to win this fight. What are your thoughts on Triple G versus Daniel Jacobs?
Triple G versus Daniel Jacobs was a good fight. It was a telling fight. I think that we didn't see Triple G at his best, not Triple G past his prime. He probably had other factors that were happening outside of the ring that might have affected his performance. We were all out there in New York. It was freezing. He could have been sick, but he never really makes any excuses, and he just goes in there, he goes to work.
Could it be that Daniel Jacobs was pretty much the 2nd best middleweight in the world, and he's a world-class athlete?
Exactly, and that's another thing to consider. Daniel Jacobs is a big middleweight. He's a big guy and a formidable competitor, and I think that by saying Triple G wasn't at his best also kind of diminishes, and I'm guilty of that too, diminishing what Daniel Jacobs did in the ring. He did some things that made Triple G pull back and not use that same mow-down strategy that he normally does. So to see him now, Daniel Jacobs is a bit of a slicker boxer than Canelo is, so maybe Canelo's style, that aggressive style, is more fitting to what will give him the victory, as opposed to a style like Daniel Jacobs that gave him some different looks and different angles and some different things to work with. It's all about styles making the fight.
One last question. Boxing.
Yes.
Does it need this fight more than anything else?
You're damn right. Yes, boxing needs these fights. We need these great fights. We need these great matchups. We need the best fighting the best. We don't need the best fighting the mailman. We don't need the best fighting the tomato can. We need the #1 guy, the #2 guy, or the 2 #1 guys. So this is a kind of fight that can bring boxing back to that front page news, above the fold sports news that we need. So I'm here for it. I love it.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to Saturday night.
To buy Canelo versus Golovkin at $16.95, press box office on your Sky remote or visit BoxNation.com.